Hello and welcome guys! In this video I wanted to make some kind of an overview and share with you my experience of working with WEEDO ME40 3D printer. This is quite an affordable, feature-packed, large-size machine. And in today's video, first of all we are going to unbox it all. I'll show you everything that's included in the box. Then we are going to set it all up and I'll show you how it all works. We are going to go over some of its main features and later print out a range of different 3D models using different filaments to be able to assess the overall quality of printing. Ultimately, in the end, we'll make some sort of conclusion regarding the 3D printer. Generally, I'm not a professional in 3D printing and this is pretty much my second 3D printer. But nevertheless, I have tried to make this video as much informative, interesting and potentially useful for you. So please try to watch it till the end. I would really appreciate any of your support in this channel's development. But not to hold you for any much longer, let's get started. Alright, let's get to unbox everything first and see what's inside. This is a large-size 3D printer which arrives in quite a big and heavy box. The box is made out of a thick cardboard and generally feels quite solid and sturdy. Inside there's quite a lot of cushioning material, which is quite important for the secure and safe transportation. In general, this printer arrives pretty much pre-assembled and literally consists of few parts. First of all, we would find the bottom part of the printer, which is the base for all of the inner electronics and the printing bed. Also, there was the lead screw for the Z-axis, which we'll need for the assembly. A bit farther through the cushioning foam and we'll find the second part of the printer, along with some sample PLA filament and a box with different accessories, at which we'll have a closer look just in a second. Lastly in the box, the second part of the printer consists of the printing head, the extruder and different surrounding parts. Inside the accessory box we can find a quick start guide and some common troubleshooting instructions, USB 2 cable, one unit of quite decent quality pliers, which in general is quite a useful thing, some sort of plastic positioning blocks which we'll need during the assembly, the power cord, quite large metal scraper, and a bag with a range of different spare parts, as well as a microSD card and a card reader. Lastly, there were several bags with different parts that we'll need during the assembly. All of the bags are numerated, which makes it pretty easy to follow the instructions. Finally, there was a small tube which connects to the extruder. And that is everything laid out. The assembly of this printer is generally quite straightforward and is well explained in the user manual. Here you just pretty much need to connect the bottom and the top part of the printer and connect all of the cables afterwards. There's also quite a detailed video instruction on how to assemble this 3D printer, which could be found on the manufacturer's official YouTube channel. And just in case, I will also leave a link for that video in the description section under this video. So do have a look at it if you are going to assemble this 3D printer. The setup process of this machine is also quick and simple and once again quite well explained in the user manual. It doesn't really differ to any other 3D printer and literally you just need to load the filament in, perform a quick manual and automatic bed leveling, set the Z offset distance, and then you are pretty much ready to start printing with it. Really just make sure to take some time and read that user manual and then carefully follow the instructions. Before the bed leveling, I actually recommend you to preheat the nozzle and the printing bed to the operational temperatures of the filament that you are going to be using. This might be quite important because when the printing bed is heated up, its surface has the ability to expand a bit, which could make the gap distance between the nozzle and the printing bed actually a bit smaller. So to have everything leveled correctly and working right, just make sure to preheat the surface of the 3D printer before attempting the bed leveling. But overall, the setup process is quite beginner-friendly. Just before getting to print our first model, let's go over some of the main features of the 3D printer. First of all, it has a removable magnetic bedsheet, which has the PEI coating on it, which allows the good adhesion of the 3D printed model to the surface, without the need for any sort of additional glue. The built-in volume for this machine measures for the 300 by 300 by 400 mm, which allow us to print a whole variety of different models. For the navigation, there's a 4.3-inch LCD touchscreen. The menu is quite intuitive and has all of the necessary functions. It is also available in few different languages on your choice. Another kind of a major feature of this 3D printer is that the hot end is able to heat up to 300 degrees Celsius, which allows this machine to print with a whole variety of different filaments. This could be particularly useful for someone who may need to print with quite exotic filaments, which have some sort of specific properties like nylon or different composite filaments. Alright, let's get to print our first model. For the start, I am going to print a pre-sliced sample model that has been included in the SD card, using the included sample PLA filament. The printing is done and let's see how it turned out. In general, the model seems to have printed fine. It is pretty simplistic but should be good enough for the first test. Just for the interest, I measured the model using my digital caliper, and it looks like to be of pretty correct size. In order to print your own models, you will need to download and install some sort of slicing software. For this printer, there are two main softwares you can use. The first one is quite well-known Cura Slicer, for which you can download the custom profile. And the second one is the WeBuilder Slicer. Both of the apps are very similar. The WeBuilder is a bit more simplistic and maybe beginner-friendly. The Cura may have a bit more advanced settings. Ultimately, you can try both of them and then use the one that you prefer more. One of the first things that I have printed was the Skyrim Steel Dagger. It is quite a big model that has been printed in 4 different parts, glued together and welded with a soldering iron. This thing can generally turn out to be pretty impressive. And by the way, I'm actually planning to make a separate video on finishing this prop, showing the entire process of its creation with sanding, filling, painting and trying out some interesting techniques. If you are interested in such kind of stuff, then that's an additional reason for you to consider subscribing and activate that bell in order not to miss out new videos coming out on my channel. Next, I have printed quite famous Banshee test. Generally, you can take a look at the quality of printing and decide it for yourself, but as for me, it doesn't seem that bad. So far, I've been printing mainly with the PLA filament, and next I wanted to try something different, so I decided to print in PTG. If you think that is another Skyrim dagger, then you are pretty much right. This model once again has been split into 3 different parts and printed out separately. And this time around, I was quite positively surprised with the quality of this print. It generally turned out to be pretty smooth and kept all of the fine details. It also fits together quite well and results in fairly huge model. Next, there will be few more example models that I have printed, so you could assess the quality of printing and decide it for yourself. Alright, after some time of working with this 3D printer, I wanted to summarize some of the main pros and cons of this machine and eventually make some kind of conclusion regarding it. Let's make it quick and start with its strengths. First of all, this is a large size 3D printing volume, which allows you to print a whole variety of different models, either in one shot or in several parts, and generally allows you to expand on your creativity. Secondly, the magnetic bed sheet with some special coating on it often ensures quite good adhesion of the filament and easy to remove models out of the printing bed. Also, this printer has an automatic bed leveling feature, which was very consistent and helped to ensure the good first layer. The printer is boarded with silent stepper drivers, which make it being pretty quiet during the printing. Lastly, the 3D printer is quite easy to assemble, operate, And as for me, it provides quite decent quality of printing, especially for a slow entry budget pricing. Let's discuss some of the downsides of this 3D printer. To be honest, there aren't really that many obvious ones, but there certainly is some room for improvement. First of all, this printer doesn't have dual Z-axis. I'm not sure to which extent it is all critical in this case, but as many say on the internet, dual Z-axis will be highly beneficial. Also, the quiet stepper drivers are only on the X and Y axis, whereas the motor for the Z axis is quite noisy. Furthermore, the feeding mechanism is very simple, and it is literally the same as in the smaller Tina 2 printer. But another good side of this 3D printer is that it has an open structure and is suitable for a range of different custom upgrades, which means that even that extruder could easily be replaced for something better. Ultimately, this 3D printer is quite beginner-friendly, affordable, and interesting option. It generally provides relatively good quality of printing, has a lot of additional useful features, and certainly isn't the worst option to consider. Overall, it is totally up to you to decide whether or not you need it all. What I have tried to do is to give you a better understanding of what the 3D printer is all about, and provide you with some real use experience. And here, this video will come to its ending. If you like this video, then please make sure to give it a thumb up and subscribe to my channel. It would mean a lot to me and really help this channel's development. Also, write your own thoughts about this 3D printer in the comment section, and if you'll have any questions, I will try to do my best in order to answer them. But thank you all very much for watching, have a great day, bye bye.